Hey, what's going on, everyone? Courtney Scott here of Scott Financial and Care. Welcome to episode 4 of New Agent Tips. Just a recap of what we spoke about in episode 3 was that we spoke about how many carriers you can start out with getting appointed with when you're just starting out, adding non-resident license so that you can kind of expand your market basically of clients, or even when you bring people into your downline, you don't have to just limit yourself to your own home resident state. And what do you want to focus on selling? Do you want to focus on selling life insurance or health insurance or annuities, or just all everything that your license allows you to sell? So in this episode, and then also how important it is to review the carrier's underwriting guidelines. Okay, so in this episode, we're talking about the type of clients or prospects that you will deal with, and also quoting and beginning an application for a client through carriers. So the type of clients you'll deal with can be very frustrating. And I am speaking from experience when I say this. It is very frustrating because you will get people, whether you're buying leads from different insurance companies or lead companies out there, or you're running your own ads on social media to generate your own leads, right? That's something that I do. I did mention that, I believe, in episode 2 of, using social media platform to run your own leads and generate your own clients that way, right? So one thing you have to realize is that just because the person submits their information, just because it's a lead, does not mean it's going to convert into a sale. Okay, it doesn't mean that the person is going to buy. A lot of times you're going to get people that they just want to see how much it'll be for them to get life insurance coverage for however much the face value amount is, right? And they're not looking to really, submit an application today because of whatever reason. And that can be frustrating to, they won't come right out and say it. A lot of times you'll get leads and you're calling the lead or you email the lead, and they never answer their phone. They never respond back to your email, and or whatever the case may be. How I usually touch base with a lead on the first attempt is I will call them. If they don't answer and they have a voicemail, I leave a voice message. I will also, if they, of course, I have their email address. Hopefully it is their email address. I will email them. And in this day and age, mostly everyone has a cell phone. So I am also sending a little text message saying, hey, this is Courtney of Scott Financial and Care. You recently submitted an inquiry for life insurance via our social media ad. To set up your free appointment, go to our website to book your free appointment, right? Something to that effect. And you get no response. I've at least touched base with this lead like 3 different ways. And I'm like saying to myself, you submitted your information to us, yet you're not answering none of our calls or emails or even text message. So you will have clients or prospects that are like that. You're not cold calling anyone. You're not just walking up to complete strangers. I mean, if you do, that's up to you. If you want to cold call, or if you want to, just walk up to complete strangers, that's up to you. If you're comfortable in doing that, then fine. I'm not comfortable in walking up to strangers. That was even pre-pandemic. So the way I do it is just I run Facebook ads on social media, and that's it. I was starting to buy leads from companies, but I just felt like the price that you're paying for it, and then to get a dead end on the lead is like, I don't want to spend my money that way. And although, I mean, like I said, it's not guaranteed you're going to get a sale with any lead, but at least with social media ads, you're getting more bang for your buck. You're not only getting a lead, but you're getting exposure for yourself as a independent a life insurance agent, right? There are some life insurance agents who don't have an LLC yet. They may decide to operate as a DBA instead, or they don't even have that at all. I have an LLC, as you can see, Scott Financial and Care, because I wanted to be able to do marketing. I wanted to do other business related things to this industry outside of the insurance, with the insurance carriers. Now, when I'm contracted with insurance carriers, I am contracted under my agent license, not my agency or the LLC, right? And I also have an agency license for my LLC, just in case purposes. And so I believe I explained that in episode 1 or 2. But anyway, so with that, you get a little bit more, you get more exposure for your business. You get more traffic to your website. You get more traffic. Like, I have my Facebook business page. You get more traffic and I have Instagram, and I have a YouTube channel, obviously, as you're viewing this. So even if I don't get the sale, convert the lead to a sale, I still get a little bit more bang for my buck, and it averages out a lot cheaper for the lead than it would if I was just paying just only for a lead through whatever company out there. That's just my preference. You don't have to do it that way. If you choose not to, you can go buy a lead from whoever else. But I know a lot of folks like to focus on the money. If you're going to be an entrepreneur, no matter what business you're in, you can't focus too much on how much is going out versus coming in your first year to 2 years. And it really just depends on the kind of business you have. Because eventually the tables are going to turn and you're going to get more money in your business than what's going out. So don't focus on it. Your focus should be about growing your business, period. It should be about growing your business, taking the experiences that you're going through, and is there something about that experience that you can now go about doing this situation differently, or did that particular situation work out for you? So that's what it is. It's about learning and growing. And that's it. So you'll have clients as well who you'll get on the phone with them. And you'll have like a 5-10 minute conversation. You thinking, okay, this person might actually turn it to an application. And then the next thing you know, click, the phone call drops. So you're like, okay, you think nothing of it. You call them back, and then there's no answer, or it goes straight to voicemail. So you're like, well, maybe their phone died or something like that. So you wait about maybe 30 minutes or so, call them again. And if you can leave a voicemail this time. So that they're like, okay, that they have your number, they know that you're trying to call them back. You get no response, they don't call you back. So now at this point, you're like, oh, so this person basically was just fooling around and BSing me. And when I say I just don't get it, I don't get it. I don't understand how, as a grown adult, you're doing something like that. Why did you even submit your information if you weren't serious about life insurance? And if you don't know a lot about life insurance, if you think life insurance is just only for when you die, and so that your family or loved ones basically can have money to bury you, then what was the point? You could have, the job of that agent is to make sure that you are aware of the many other benefits to having a life insurance or even an annuity for retirement. We're there to make sure that you know that it's a lot more you can get out of it than when you're alive, versus just only your beneficiaries getting something out of it. When you're alive and you have a whole life policy, you have a cash value account that grows over time. And by your second, maybe anywhere from your second to the 5th year, you can start withdrawing money out of that cash value account and use it for whatever purposes you want, And so, and then it's just like, when they use the excuse of, they may not have a lot of money. well, we have policies. We have a whole lot of policies that can accommodate your budget and maybe even your what you want in coverage. And then you have some people out there, and then that's another type of person. You have people out there that they want $100,000, but they only want to be able to pay, let's say $50 a month or $40 a month, but they are over the age of 40 or 50 or 60 years old. No, it's not going to happen like that. Stress to your client or prospect, like, look, the older you are, the more your policy is going to be. The less you might not be able to get $100,000 policy. Okay. And there are policies out there that's like that. Like you can probably offer them a term life policy if there's anything out there like that. And that's if they can even get approved. Because then if they come with health conditions, and it's very rare you will have a client where they are stuck on a certain amount, right? They're stuck on a certain amount for their monthly premium that they want to pay and how much in the face value they want, but they have these health conditions and they're like over a certain age, right? And it's just like, you can't help them. Especially when you are a non-captive agent like myself and you have access to over 24 carriers, and you just cannot help them because they're not willing to budge. They're not willing to be flexible. I'm like, well, at this point, I'm not gonna stress myself about it. And that's another tip that I advise. Do not stress yourself out about any client or prospect. I know we want to make that money, that unlimited amounts of money in this industry. I know you do, but do not stress yourself out about it. You will get those clients who are good, who are A+, who they can qualify for whatever coverage. They're flexible. They are able to afford their premium every month. They pay it on time with no problems. You don't have to worry about chargebacks. Chargebacks is basically if a lot of carriers have like anywhere from maybe a 3 or 6 month, maybe a 1 year chargeback period. So if your client misses a payment and the carrier has already paid out commission to you, if that client doesn't make that payment in time or make that payment for whatever month it is, and if they don't make it for the next payment and they're still alive, it could cause their policy to lapse, and then now you have to pay back whatever you got in commission before the carrier even got the payment. So a lot of carriers pay you before even getting the payment from the client. Some carriers will pay as earned. So once they get their payment from the client, then they pay you commission. So don't go and spend off your commission like that, because you want to make sure that the client has made the payment. And eventually you're going to get to a point where you're like, I'm not chasing a client to make their payment. It is what it is. If the person doesn't make the payment and I have to pay back the money, the commission money in the chargeback, then fine, whatever. But I'm not chasing a grown adult to do what they know they need to do and do the responsible thing. That brings me for an example. I recently have a client who it's like for the last 2 months where basically, their policy just was issued. And so now the carrier is drafting for the initial premium. And wouldn't you know, a week later, I get an email stating that premium has been returned due to insufficient funds. So that's not fun for me, because now I've already been paid the commission for it, but now I have to pay that commission back. And I've reached out to the client. So as of right now, as this video, I am waiting on the client to sign the draft form so the carrier can redraft for payment. And I've called the client and I'm like, okay, I don't like that. I don't like that I have to chase a grown adult to do what they know they need to be done. Stress this to your client in the beginning. This is the amount for your policy every month. Once your policy has been approved and it is issued, the carrier will withdraw the initial premium amount. I don't know what day that'll be. And also, some carriers will allow you to schedule that. They'll allow you to schedule up to 30 days from the date of application the initial premium. Of course, you don't have to tell your client that. You could say, look, we can schedule the initial premium anywhere between today and the next 14 days. It's really up to you. But then there are some carriers that they only allow up to 7 days from the application date, just because of the recent events in the world of the pandemic. They just want to make sure that client, I guess, can get covered and they get payment and you get payment, etc. So you tell them, here's the amount for your premium. And once your policy is approved, they're going to draft for your initial premium. Please make sure that this amount is in your bank account at least for the next 2 to 3 weeks. Do not touch that money for any reason unless it's an emergency. If you do need to use that money, or if for some reason something drafted from your account that was not the carrier, call me and let me know so that I can change the date of your initial premium and we can make sure everything goes smoothly. But do you think they do that? No, they don't do it. And a lot of them know they don't have the money, yet they still play a game with you as if, everything's going to be all good. And they don't say anything, knowing that they do not have the money. Knowing that they were really just calling to get a quote. And I guess when they decide a year later or 6 months later, when their birthday has passed, that they're going to call back and think they're going to get the same quote, it's not going to happen. Especially if they end up developing a health condition between the time that they call you again, if they do, and the last time you spoke with them. So that's another thing to definitely stress to them. Like, look, the older you become, and the further time goes along, and as long as if you end up developing a health condition, this is not going to be the same rate at that point in time. You are going to end up having to, you might end up having to pay more. And let them, if you have access to more than one carrier, let them know that. Because they may just think, that's the price that it's always going to be. That's the only price. And they might call around to different carriers, not knowing you have access to over, two dozen carriers or more, And so that's one of the great things about being a non-captive agent is that I don't have to stick to just selling one carrier and their products. I can sell multiple carriers' products if I choose to. I do the comparing for my clients. You don't have to go anywhere else. I can do it for you, And so you'll have those type of clients. And yeah, I like I said, they are frustrating to deal with. They are stressful. And I've gotten to the point where I had to word my ads that I run on social media in a certain way to weave out those weak links. I had those type of people who I guess they thought the ad was an instant quote, but it's not. You have those that you give clear instructions on the ad and they still, for some reason, don't pay attention to it. And mind you, nothing is pulling their information. They are manually, voluntarily inputting their information into the ad to give, so that this way it comes to me and I can call them or email them. But yet, when you reach out to them, do they answer? Do they call you back? Do they email you back? Do they schedule the appointment on the website? No. And you call them and you're like, okay, what's going on? Like, you submitted and some of them will lie and say that I never submitted my information. Somebody must have did this, or somebody must have had my phone or tablet or whatever the case may be. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, you're BS. you're BSing. Come on, stop. Who's going to submit your information for life insurance unless you were someone who was not physically able to do it yourself? And this is your caretaker, your family member who's a caretaker, and they're paying for the policy on you. And even if you thought somebody was plotting to murder you for the life insurance policy, they're never going to get it I don't even understand why that still goes on in today where people do that. You're going to get caught. You're not going to get the life insurance money. Thing in today's day and age, that's not going to happen. You're not going to get away with it. You're just going to go to jail for the rest of your life for plotting to kill someone or even killing the person, thinking you were going to get the life insurance money. Anyway, besides the point. You are going to deal with these type of clients. They are frustrating, they are aggravating, but you have to at least just say, you know what, I'm not dealing with it. I'm not going to deal with these type of clients. Like I said in my example, the client that I have right now, I'm not going to chase her down to make her initial premium. If she doesn't make her initial premium, then the policy is just going to have to lapse. And if she decides a week later she wants to contact me and make her payment, she's going to have to now make 2 months worth of payment. So you basically set yourself up for failure. And, that client is claims to be getting annoyed or aggravated with everything, but all of these billing issues is because of you, the client, not me, the agent or the carrier. It's you. You're the problem. But they don't want to see that sometimes. You have to make them see that as the agent. You can remain professional, but be realistic with your clients. Don't let them run over you, or anything like that. And some of these attitudes are expected from clients, because think about yourself. Have you done that at some point? Have you played a game with someone who's trying to sell you something and you just hang up the phone on them? Or you make up some lie or something, or you give them a bogus phone number or something like that? Or are you on time with your payments? On the other hand, I question myself, because I'm like, why am I attracting these type of people? I don't know if it's because of how much I'm spending on my ads. I would love to spend thousands of dollars on my ads, and so that I can get better attraction to my ads on social media. But I keep myself on a budget. I'm still a fairly new business, right? So maybe that's why I'm attracting these kind of people. I don't know. Who knows? But I pay my bills on time every month. Actually, but way before it's due. So that's actually a good thing. And if I'm not interested in buying something, I say no. I don't sit there and play a game with the sales rep or whoever it may be. I don't sit there and play a game. And when it comes to certain things like insurance, whether it's auto insurance, health insurance, life insurance, vision insurance, because obviously, you see I wear glasses. When it comes to my 401k plan, I take those things serious because I'm an adult. When you're younger, when you're under like 30 years old or under 35, you don't really think about those things until you hit up to 35 and over, right? Because you're like, I'm just trying to hold on to my money. I don't want to have another expense. But then you're out there buying stuff that you don't need that you do not need. And it's nothing wrong with buying things for pleasure, but also have your stuff in order. Okay? If you are under the age of 35, 30, or 30 years old, or over the age of 18, if you are 18 years old, if you started right now at 18 years old and you get a full-time job and your full-time job offers a 401k plan or whatever the case may be, start it. Or open up a stock account, an investment account, like a trading account or something, and start buying stocks. Open up that 401k account through your job, and even you can have that follow you through every job. All you got to do is get it rolled over into whatever the new job is. If the new job you have uses a different company for 401k accounts, just have that money rolled over. That's all you have to do. And let it just keep building up. And make sure, hopefully your parent or whoever's raising you, if you're just by yourself, hopefully you'll get a life insurance policy. You don't have to get $1 million policy, but you can get something that's like even $10,000. You're young, so it's not going to cost you a lot every month. You have no problem. You know you need a cell phone. You pay your cell phone bill every month. You're probably paying, over $50 a month for your cell phone. If you're 18 or 20 something years old and you get life insurance, your policy is going to be, you can get even a $25,000 policy or a $100,000 policy. Your life insurance premium payment is going to be under like $25 a month. That's what, almost $1 a day? $1 a day? Come on. So it's just, and I understand, a lot of people lack financial literacy, but start now to improve on your financial knowledge. Be the first one to actually have better financial knowledge than your parents or whoever raised you, or whatever the case may be. So that you can teach your children, nieces and nephews and cousins and whoever, and other children that are not related to you, better financial literacy, better financial management, period. Okay. So yes, those are the type of clients you're going to deal with. I mean, I would love to say you're not going to have clients that's going to BS you. You're not going to have clients that's going to act as if they're putting in an application. They go through the process of the application process with you, but then they end up, they know that they don't have the money in the account. Hopefully it is their bank account. And they know that it's going to bounce. They know that it's not going to go through. And when you call them, they don't answer the phone. That's how they know. When you call them, they don't answer the phone. They don't respond back to your voicemail. They don't call you back. They don't email you back. That's how they knew, it's not going to go through because there's no money in that account. Or it might not be their account. I don't know. So that's how they knew. And I'm just like, why? Why do it? You are an adult. You reached out to me. I don't cold call, and I'm not paying for I'm not buying your information. I'm not buying information that you did not voluntarily and manually put in yourself. So why? And if you could tell that this is like getting to me, it's because I've dealt with it a lot. And I just got to a point where I'm just like, I don't even care. I'm not going to sit here and stress myself out about it anymore. And I'm not going to chase grown adults to do what they know they need to do and be the responsible adult. If you die tomorrow, your family better not call me. And that's all I say is like, your family better not call me asking about a policy on you. And because all I'm going to tell them is sorry for your loss, but your family member chose not to respond when payment was needed. They chose not to pay on their policy. So unfortunately, there's no death benefit to put a claim for. And that's it, So last thing I want to touch on is when you're running quotes and submitting an application. So when you run a quote, here's what I learned. Before even starting an application, you want to before you start an application, talk with the client. Ask them general questions. Their age, their height and weight. Do they have any health conditions? If so, what are they on medication? What medications are they taking? Are they a smoke? Do they, use tobacco, nicotine? What else? You can ask them, obviously, if they have children. Is this policy, are they only looking to get a policy on themselves and someone else, or just themselves? And the reason that you ask those general questions is because, and then also ask them, do they have a driver's license? If so, is it valid? Like, it can't be revoked or suspended, because some carriers will decline for that purpose. Ask them those questions. Jot it down, write it down if you need to, or use your computer notepad and just, type it in there. And you ask those questions so that you ask them also, how much are they looking to get in a policy death benefit amount? Are they looking for just enough to, for their family to bury them, like a $10,000 policy, or are they looking for $1 million policy or a $250,000, whatever, right? And then you ask them, well, how much are you looking, or are you comfortable with paying every month in a monthly premium? Because I do care about the amount in coverage, face value amount that they want, but at the same time, it's more so about what are you comfortable in paying every month and can afford every month. Because you'll look up $100,000 policies or $1 million policies, but then the $1 million policy might be, depending on their age, could be up to $1,000-something a month for that $1 million policy. And then they get scared away and they're like, no, and then next thing you know, you don't have that client or whatever the case may be, right? So ask them, what are you comfortable in paying every month in a monthly premium? And then go based upon that. And then, and depending on each carrier website agent portal should have their own quoting system, or they might have they call them quick rates. And so they have a quick rate sheet, a PDF form a lot of times, or a web form that'll show you based on this person's age and how much they want in coverage, this is how much they'll pay every month. That's not even including any health conditions, right? And you ask for height and weight because there are underwriting guidelines. Those guidelines tell you whether or not what type of table rating this customer will be rated as. They might be considered preferred or substandard or standard or a complete decline. If they are outside of the maximum weight for their height, regardless of their gender, they won't get approved. They might be healthy too, but if they are outside of that weight range, they won't get approved. And a lot of carriers are not waiving on that. Some do, but it's rare, right? And if you have clients where they're out of that weight range, you can look for carriers that sell final expense guaranteed issue type policies. Some of them still have a height weight chart, or they call them build charts, for guaranteed final expense type policies. But most of them don't, and most of the final expense guaranteed issue policies are non-medical, and that basically means that person does not have, or any client does not have to do a paramedic exam rather, or a urine blood sample exam in order to get coverage, right? But the thing about that is a lot of them have low face values. They may only offer up to $30,000 or $25,000 for coverage, and the pricing is decent. It's a decent price, but they are considered whole life policies still, so they do come with a cash value account, which is, that's a good benefit. Okay, so you have a low face value, the pricing is about the same, but it comes with a cash value account, so they can earn money on their policy. Let's see. So you ask those questions, the height and weight, the build chart. You ask their health conditions, because every carrier in their underwriting guideline, they have impairment guides. And you need to look up those health conditions. Some of them include medications that they will decline. And those impairment guides include the type of health conditions that will be considered a decline, or what type of table rating that person will be rated as based on their health condition. Okay. And I wouldn't once you get to the application portion, if the customer is comfortable with the monthly premium and the face value amount, and they are ready to start coverage, and you have reviewed the underwriting guideline to ensure that this client is going to qualify and not have any issues of getting declined, then you can move into doing the application. And you can ask them, should you be approved? Are you prepared to submit an initial premium within the next week, 1 to 2 weeks? because once the application gets approved, they're going to process for an initial premium payment. And if not, we can schedule a day in the next 2 weeks, or 30 days if the carrier allows up to 30 days from application date to schedule your initial premium payment. And I'm telling you, they'll say, yeah. And then the date comes, you can send an email to them to remind them, hey, your payment due date is coming, your initial premium payment due date is coming up in the amount of whatever it is. To remind them. The date comes, and guess what ends up happening? Insufficient funds. So that is so aggravating. I'm telling you, you're going to, if you're, do not start smoking or drinking, but it's ridiculous. They make you want to and whatever. But then you have some, like I said, that are A+ good clients. They make the payment immediately. They say, oh yeah, I don't care what they, the money's there. There's no problem when it gets done. Okay. I would take those type of people every day, all day, versus the people that are just not right in their mind. To me, they're not right in their mind, even though they may seem right in their mind. You can't be right in your mind if you're playing games like that, right? So you want to check the impairment guide. Make sure that their health condition and or medication that they take won't cause for a decline. And if you're just not sure, or you just don't feel like or have the time to review the underwriting guideline while you have the client on the phone with you, or if you are meeting them face to face, then all you do is just take down that information. Find the sales support or illustration support for agents of that carrier on their website or in the agent portal somewhere, if they have a phone number, and give them all that information and ask them, is there any product that you offer that this client can qualify for? And they'll tell you what it is. You could tell them, they'll tell you what that product is, and they might give you the rate, or they'll just say, we have no products to offer at this time for that client. Simple as that. So they basically are doing what you would do, right? And that's just a way for you to kind of save time. If they do have a product for you to offer your client, then at that point in time, you can set up you would tell the client, look, I'm going to take down your information. I'm going to submit it to some of my carriers and see what we can offer you. And then let's set up an appointment for 2 days from today, if you want, because you may not get an immediate response from the carrier. So just give it about 2 days or 3 days and set up a second appointment if you choose to do it this way. And then contact the client with the options available and how much the premium will be. And if they are ready to and they are okay with that, they're comfortable with the monthly premium amount, then you transition into starting the application. Because what you don't want to do is waste time going through a whole application process and the person doesn't even get approved, right? And then now you have to go start the process all over again of finding another carrier for this particular client. So sometimes that saves you, some steps, that saves you the process. But I like to, I don't mind it. I do it both ways. I'll sit on the phone with the client while I'm looking at different carriers. I already know I have maybe 2 or 3 carriers in mind that I will submit this client for. And then if it's a really difficult client where, let's say, for example, they're in their 50s, they are way overweight for their height, and there's no carrier that's willing to offer them a policy, right? Which that is a real example for me, because I did have a client like that. And I'm still to this day looking for a carrier that will approve this client. But what I find best is that there is a final expense policy that will work for this client. I have some things that's still in progress right now. And once that gets done, then that client will be covered. And plus, because they want to only spend a certain amount for their premium. Okay. So at that point, once you find a carrier that they will approve of, if the customer is comfortable with the premium amount and they are prepared to make that initial premium payment, you can start the application Let them know that it could take up to a week to 2 weeks before it gets approved. There may the if it's a medical, or if it doesn't state that it's not a non-medical type of policy, let them know that the carrier may request for them to do a paramedic exam, and explain what a paramedic exam is. A paramedic exam is not like how you go to your normal physician for an annual checkup or anything like that. Most of them are just checking for, they do your height and weight. They do, I don't think they care for temperature, but they might do, they might have the client do urine sample. They might draw blood. They might do an EKG, and then they test for blood pressure as well. And they'll do all those things, and it goes to a lab, and then the lab results goes to the carrier. That's all that is. So, and plus, they cannot use their physician when a paramedic exam is being requested to be done. This comes at no cost to the client or you as the agent. The carrier takes on the cost of the paramedic exam. Now, if you have a 70-something-year-old or 60-something-year-old client, it'll be at your discretion to just go ahead and do a paramedic exam. But again, look in the carrier's underwriting guideline, because that underwriting guideline will tell you that this person's going to need a certain type of paramedic exam to be done, or they're going to need an EKG or HOS or blood or urine analysis to be done. It'll tell you that, and especially it'll tell you if it needs to be done, if it's a certain amount of money they want for their policy face value amount. Okay. So sometimes you don't have to wait on the carrier to request for you to order that paramedic exam to be done. You have to put in the order for the paramedic exam to be done. There are different vendors out there. They'll tell you which vendor that they use for paramedic exams. So, again, all of that information is in the underwriting guideline. And that's pretty much it of what I wanted to cover. I hope that this mentally and emotionally prepares you when you are getting ready to deal with clients. Just sometimes put yourself in that shoe, because obviously you were or are a client at some point, or a consumer as well. So imagine every time you said no. Imagine every time you just wanted to get a quote on something. If you are somebody who does not pay your bills on time, I'm not saying it's karma or nothing like that, because it has nothing, I don't think it's karma. At first I thought it might have been karma, but I'm like, wait a minute, I pay my bills every month on time. I have no issue in saying I'm just looking for a quote on something, or I'm not interested in something at this time. That's no problem for me. So, but I learned that this is something I had to experience so that I could share it with you, who you are a new or fairly new agent still, right? And you're just like, am I the only one going through this? No, you're not. All right. So I hope that this helped. I don't know if I'm going to have an episode 5 just yet. If I happen to have an episode 5, but then obviously you'll see a new episode next week. And that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe, like, share, comment. If you have any questions, you can email me at c.scott@scottfinancialcare.com. You can visit the website, scottfinancialcare.com. If you're interested in joining my team, you can also send me an email just stating that you would like to join my team and be one of my mentees. Obviously, you are still an independent contractor. I am not your boss. I am not your business partner or anything like that. But sometimes some people need that extra guidance, or, someone to, obviously that extra guidance with their business. And that's basically it. You earn up to 90% commission starting out. Of course, different carriers pay more than that, depending on who you become appointed with. We do have access to ACA carriers. We have access to Crump carriers. We have access to just a lot of the big commission pay carriers. You're your own boss. You can work from anywhere you want to work from, as long as you have a phone, a cell phone, and access to the internet, and your tablet and cell phone, or whatever you want to do. A lot of people are on vacation and they still closing on policies. And you have the support of over 1,000 agents. You have not just support and training from the carriers, but you have support and training from the team. And I mean, it's a lot of us. It is a lot of us. We support each other. We celebrate our wins, no matter how small those wins may be. There are discounts available if you are looking to become licensed and your state requires that you take a pre-license course before you can actually sit for the exam for your license, because this is a regulated industry. And so we do offer a discount to the pre-licensing course. And then also you have to be over the age of 18. You cannot have a felony. I don't know about misdemeanors or anything like that, but I mean, if you have a misdemeanor, I don't know if conviction or I know it has to be discharged or dismissed or discharged, or the charges have to be discharged or dismissed. You have to have proof of that and all that good stuff, but I'm not going to get into all that. Either way, you're looking to join the team, call me 800-365-4299. Email me c4courtney.scott SCOTT @scottfinancialcare.com. Have a good day.